This is a fun oil tutorial. It's of a chimpanzee, and I'm gonna just make it quick, go through the process of how I put this together, and let's get started. Enjoy. To begin with, I had some prep work that I did beforehand. So I masked off this presentation foam board, and I did lay down some dark oil paint background, okay? And then I let it dry for like a week. But it was very light, so it dried very quickly. Now, here's something. I started out and I realized right away that this face that I'm beginning to paint is too small. So you saw like I covered it, but then I decided to just wipe it off with paper towel. So if the paint is thin enough, you can wipe it off pretty quickly and easily. And then, you have a clean slate. So this was very useful. And then I like starting with the black background or a dark background. Never black, because I always mix the colors because it just looks better. It looks more professional if you mix whatever background color you have. Like if you want a dark black or something that's close to black, you want to mix it. So so I always start with dark kind of chiaroscuro style backgrounds because I admire artists like Rembrandt, and then they always started dark. Even this is a kind of, it's a monkey, it's a chimpanzee. So I block in everything. I try to go light because at the beginning you want to go diluted and light, but then because I want to do it all in one session, I also have to go somewhat thick just so the color sticks, but I want to build some layers as well. And then what I have there is I have a jar above on the top right. I have a jar of half solvent and half linseed oil that I've mixed. And there's a reason for that. Basically, so the paint, when it's dry, isn't too dry, and it's not also too oily. So it's just, I just developed this half and half mix. Usually a little bit more solvent because the solvent will evaporate. So then I've blocked in everything. It's this one is like a bit on the gray side. It was the first in a series, so I was still kind of experimenting with things. One thing that I also should mention, if you look on the palette, you see I only have 4 colors, and that's, well, white and black are shades. So I have those, and I have the 3 primary colors. I love to work with primary colors because I get the most control. Like, yeah, like I have to spend some time mixing maybe. But, I know what I'm starting with, and it's just easier for me that way to just start with those primaries. Like some mixed colors are nice, but anyway, so this is what I did, primaries, and now I'm like touching up everything. Now you saw I added some contrast to the eyes to kind of highlight those. I was working from a photo that I found online, which due to copyright I'm not going to show, but it's good when you're doing a subject like this to use reference, unless it's like a subject that you're really, really familiar with. But typically I still don't recommend it. I always feel like you have to do planning or use some sort of reference and then maybe alter the reference for originality. So some of the things that I did, like in altering this, is I just, played around a little with the colors. Like I was flexible with the colors. Like I wasn't exact. And overall, earlier when I resized the face, I already know about composition, so I knew I had to make it big enough so I have a nice composition with enough space up top and enough space on the bottom. And even the way I kind of directed the fur towards the signature, it's all part of the overall composition of the artwork. And now I'm just spending some extra time adding more contrast, and it's mostly black. I'm hoping that the adding the black and the white highlights will, create more contrast and make some of the features pop. And lastly, I've used 3 brush sizes for the whole artwork, and they're Raphael brand, which is good for oil, and they're very nice brushes there. And that's about it.